Greetings, everybody. This is Jesse here. For the time being, I'm going to be putting the monarchy series on hold for a little bit. Still gathering, materials on it for my next presentation, but I'm going to be kind of like going back and forth. Okay, due to the fact of the recent events that's been transpiring in the aspect of Ebola, ISIS, and these types of things. Now, the main thing that I'm concerned about is the whole Ebola thing, and for those that are true believers in Christ, and those that have not found salvation, there are some steps that you can take to be prepared for a possible pandemic. And the thing is again, it's not through your pharmaceutical agencies, but again, God's given creation. He puts minerals and vitamins on the earth for us to take for our health, for our benefit. And there has, you can watch documentaries about this, that natural, organic vitamins, minerals always has a good effect when battling viruses, colds, flus, diseases, and these types of things. And so I'm going to go over some things that you can take. I'm going to link you to a website called contendingfortruth.com. I'll provide a PDF so you can look at the PDF. You can listen to his presentation regarding Ebola and measures that you can take. I will be going over some of those. But first and foremost, the most important thing we have to realize is this: is Psalms 91 is a very, very good passage for such a time as these. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read Psalms 91, and then we're going to kind of go into the whole Ebola thing that's happening in Texas. And before I read Psalms 91, I do want to say that the reports that are coming out are very sketchy. Me personally, I smell a rat. I know the guy that went into the hospital, admittedly on his own the first time, claims that he was sick. He mentioned that he was from Liberia, and then there arise the questions. So, upon further research and looking into it, it seems to me that there is a lot of mad dashes to the airports over in West Africa. I don't know the exact details, but these people are seeking medical attention. And these people basically have this belief and notion that the U.S. has all the answers of this medical attention. So I think what you're going to see, mainly because of how open our borders are with illegals and stuff like that, I have a feeling you're going to see an influx of these people coming in. And I think this was the case with this individual, because he went in on his own into the hospital, apparently, and he was asked the questions: where did he come from? Where did you get sick? How did you get sick? And these types of things. And they diagnosed him with basically a common cold, sent him away with some antibiotics, and then 2 or 3 days later, he was walking around, he was out in public for those 2 or 3 days, he got really sick. And then he was finally officially diagnosed with the Ebola virus. There's a lot of question marks going around it, like a report that came out that there's people that went into the apartment of this individual unprotected, and also when the ambulance picked him up, I guess he collapsed and he vomited right on the sidewalk, and the cleaning crew basically sprayed the vomit with a power washer. Now, obviously, when you look at sidewalks, you have drains, and common sense. I mean, even in the workplace, you cut yourself. There's measures you have to take. And these types of things. So when I read that, there's a lot of things that just don't make sense with this. Do I believe that this guy has this virus? Yes. Do I believe it's going to spread? It's a strong possibility. And so that's why I want to go over some of these measures that you can take. First and foremost, Psalm 91. This is something that you might want to digest, to say in your prayers, and to totally live this passage, live this psalm. Okay? And it goes something like this. Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, for those that are in Christ, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. This is where we want to have our mindsets planted, in the habitation of the Most High. If we fully have our mindsets planted in the habitation of the Most High, these things will not harm us. Okay? There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. This is basically a biblical remedy that you can take and put it inside you, and, with all faith in mind. Okay? And grasp this promise that's in this psalm. And know that these things will not come nigh thy dwelling. Now, at the same time, we need to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves here. You don't want to, at the same time, you don't want to tempt God. And it's like, well, I believe God, this stuff ain't going to, happen to me, and these types of things. Folks, my people are perish for the lack of knowledge, okay? And if there are things that you can take, and if there are things that you can do to prevent or maybe even cure yourself of a certain disease like Ebola, then if you have the means to do so, I think it would be wise to stock up on some of these things. And so I'm going to go over these measures. I'm going to go over some of these things that you can take. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so before I go into the PDF regarding Ebola, I just want to take you to the official site. Now, the operator and owner of this site is Dr. Scott Johnson. You see right here. He has you can provide an email address and sign up for his Christian news updates and health updates. He is also is a part of N5 Mild Silver Protein. I believe he kind of works for them, I guess. And you can actually order it from him, or you can actually order it from N5 Mild Silver Protein. All you have to do is click on the link right here and these types of things, and you'll be able to do that. So again, I will provide the link to this website. I do believe he has a lot of good things to say, but he is a little, I think, over radical at times. So I will forewarn you, but I believe that he does a very fantastic job of putting out events and documenting them in his PDFs that he includes with every audio podcast. And this is the case especially from the 914 podcast that he did. It's a 2-part podcast regarding Ebola. And all you have to do is click on the PDF, and this is what you get. And he goes into everything that he covers in his PDF regarding each topic or each study that he talks about. Everything is included, links and everything. So it's not just him saying these things. I do believe he knows what he's talking about in regards to natural health and organic health, and these types of things. Now, regarding Invive Silver, okay, I'm going to read this, and you already have the links on how you can purchase this right here, or you can actually contact him as well. I mean, basically, when he sends you his news updates via email, look at his email address and contact him personally, and he'll be able to help you out with that, from possibly just getting the silver from him, because a lot of times he puts out his own specials and stuff like that, which might be a little cheaper than actually going to the official Invive Silver Protein. Okay, so... But let's go ahead and get to the portion of this PDF. And again, I will post this link below to the PDF so you can read it yourself. And everything is linked so you can, cross confirm everything that's talked about here. And the disclaimer goes, it is your constitutional right to educate yourself in the arena of health and medical knowledge, to seek helpful information and make use of it for the benefit of you and your family. Okay, so update from Invive Silver. He recommends that you print this whole section below. The 10,000 ppm is mandatory. Parts per million, 10,000. That is very strong stuff. Okay. Meaning the correct protocol in a life and death situation where death is imminent within 72 hours. If you do not think you will die in 72 hours, then take the 5,000 parts per million. Some Ebola patients die in 48 hours and some die in 21 days. If you are already bleeding from orifice, then the Ebola has advanced and you must use the 10,000 parts per million. Tell your people Ebola can kill within 48 hours to 21 days. Okay? It takes a minimum of 3 days to ship the Invive from our factory because our manufacturing is in a small town where it is delayed by USPS for 1 day. For the silver to travel to the airport in the next largest city. That is why we ship priority, because if we shipped express overnight, it would still take 2 to 3 days to arrive. In a case of a worst case Ebola infection, by the time the silver is delivered to them in 3 days, they could be dead. So they must purchase in advance and have the silver on hand to be safe. That is just a plain actual fact. I myself have 3 bottles of 10,000 parts per million with me wherever I am or travel. That is barely enough, meaning the minimum to attack the Ebola while waiting for more silver to arrive. So they should have at least 3 bottles of 10,000 parts per million stockpiled in advance, assuming the USPS trucks are still running during an Ebola outbreak and that the cities are not locked down with no one allowed to enter or leave, including the courier trucks. Now, Ebola. Note, 5,000 parts per million is mentioned here, but in an advanced case, okay? So let's just say you're paying attention to what's going on in Texas and possibly in Washington, D.C., and even Toronto. It's not been confirmed regarding Toronto and Washington, D.C. There's a couple people that are being tested. We don't know if these tests came back positive or negative yet, so... this is just some precautions you might want to take, okay? But in an advanced case, life or death. I'm talking, the incubation period is done, and you're already bleeding from the eye sockets, the nose, the mouth, all your orifices. This is what you need to take is 10,000 parts per million. So obviously this is something you want to purchase in advance, okay? See above for more clarification. Invive 5,000 parts per million mild silver protein. When combating and advancing presentation of Ebola within the subject individual, it is mandatory to maintain a steady state of silver in your bloodstream every 4 hours, equals 6 times per day for adults of 120 pounds and up, but reduced for children via percentage of their body weight in relation to 120 pounds. Okay. Scott Johnson does go over this stuff in his audio presentation. Number 1, if you have been or suspect you have been exposed in Ebola, take this dosage, 5,000 parts per million, 5 cc or 1 tablespoon, teaspoon 4 times a day or every 6 hours. If you are starting to display symptoms, take this dosage, 10,000 parts per million, 5 cc's, 1 tablespoon 4 times a day or every 6 hours. If you're in full-blown Ebola symptoms going to terminal, take this dosage, 10,000 parts per million, 5 cc's, 1 tablespoon of 10,000 every hour. Okay? Now, here's a note here with selenium. Now, selenium is very interesting because selenium has been found to be almost totally depleted from the soils where Ebola is prevalent in Africa and has been found to be very helpful in the prevention of Ebola. So you can start taking the selenium to prevent an infection. He recommends selenium 90 tablets, see below and far below. I'm just going to show you, I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to show you what the benefits are of selenium, okay? The facts about selenium. In order to understand the benefits of selenium, it is important to first understand the facts about selenium. Selenium is a trace element found in soil and is required in small amounts to maintain good health. It is essential for many body processes and is present in nearly every cell, but especially in the kidneys, liver, spleen, testes, and pancreas. Selenium acts as an antioxidant against free radicals that damage our DNA. It is often included with vitamin C, and that's going to be important here in just a moment. And E. So that also might be something you want to purchase as vitamin E to help fight against cancer, heart disease, and even aging. It has also been used to fight viral infections and may even slow the progression of AIDS and HIV. Selenium also contributes to good health by promoting normal liver functions. Other benefits of selenium include the protection against heart disease, the protection against toxic minerals, and the neutralization of alcohol, smoke, and fats. It can help to increase male potency, and it also involved in the maintenance of hair, skin, and eyes. So people with psoriasis, like myself, selenium is another good source you can take. Good sources of selenium. Okay. Selenium can be found in many of today's foods such as Brazil nuts, poultry, seafood, and meats. Oats and brown rice can also provide significant amounts, but this can sometimes depend on the selenium content of the soil. And that's very important because selenium is a mineral that's found in soil in which they have been grown. And in the case of Africa, basically their soil has been totally depleted of selenium. So any crops that they get over there, their crops, their vegetation is basically depleted from the selenium source, which is found in the soil. You can also get a selenium supplement. The recommended daily allowance is 70 mcg for men and 55 mcg for women. In order to produce major benefits, an amount of up to 600 mcgs can be taken. And in the case of Ebola, I would go with the highest amount. Okay? This is prevention. This is precautions. This is something you can prepare your body for. Selenium deficiency is rare, as most people get enough in their daily diets. However, if you were to be deficient, symptoms would include muscular weakness and fatigue. Too much selenium, on the other hand, is possible. If you are taking a selenium supplement, you should remember not to exceed 600 mcgs per day. Overdosing on selenium or selenium poisoning can cause depression, nausea, and vomiting. Kind of like the same thing with zinc. Okay? Nervousness and loss of hair and fingernails along with a breath odor. Okay, so it's kind of like the same thing with zinc. You know, you take it until you start, basically, you take and take until you kind of start, feeling a little nauseated. And then basically that's when you say, okay, you give it a couple days and then start taking some more again. Major benefits of selenium. Selenium has been receiving huge attention in recent times due to its role in combating cancer. A 5-year study has been carried out, and it has shown that people taking 200 mcg a day, there were 63% less prostate tumors, 58% less colorectal cancers, 46% less lung malignancies, and a 39% overall decrease in cancer deaths. This study was carried out at Cornell University and the University of Arizona. In other studies, selenium has also shown promise in helping to prevent other cancers such as the cancer of the cervix, rectum, ovaries, bladder, oesophagus, pancreas, and liver. It is also being tested against leukemia with the hope of promising results. With this in mind, scientists are on a daily basis continuing to research into the benefits of selenium and how it may indeed be among the answers for curing cancer. And obviously, these are independent scientists, because those bought and paid for scientists aren't going to want this information because it's all about the money. Okay? Additionally, selenium can protect the heart, primarily by reducing the stickiness of the blood and decreasing the risk of clotting, in turn, lowering the risk of heart attack and stroke. Moreover, selenium increases the ratio of HDL, good cholesterol, to LDL, bad cholesterol, which is critical for a healthy heart. Smokers or those who've already had a heart attack or stroke may gain the greatest cardiovascular benefits from selenium supplements, though everyone can profit from taking selenium in a daily vitamin and mineral supplement. Okay. So that's selenium. This is where I personally recommend. I myself, where I live, we a lot of times go through this site. This is pure organic. This is, everything in here is non-synthetic. It's pure organic. It's pure natural. There's nothing synthetic about any of these supplements and vitamins within this site. Okay, so this is a site I highly recommend in order to purchase your natural foods or whole foods, basically. But this is where you can find the selenium here at Innate Response Formulas. I'll provide the link below. And so let's go ahead and continue on the PDF. This is where it gets pretty interesting. Computational genomic analysis of hemorrhagic fever viruses, viral selenoproteins as a potential factor in pathogenesis. They talk about Ebola being a viral selenoprotein, and biosynthesis of this protein could impose an unprecedented selenium demand on the host, which means selenium is a very highly recommended thing to have. And ASAP. I would get some of the stuff ASAP again and just start taking it. Okay, it's not going to harm you. It can only help you. Potentially leading to severe lipid peroxidation and cell membrane destruction and contributing to hemorrhagic symptoms. It is well documented that selenium plays a significant role in the regulation of blood clotting via its effects on the thermoboxane prostate blah blah ratio and effects on the complement system. Now, from Advantage International, vitamin C and the Ebola treatment trade fear for knowledge. In addition to the Invive Silver, Ebola patients would benefit from high doses of vitamin C. The Invive Silver stops the Ebola virus, but you must put the vitamin C back in their body that the Ebola has taken away. So I'm going to continue here. I want you to pay attention very closely. Again, for clarity, the Invive Medical Journal Silver eradicates the Ebola virus, but excerpt. Here's what Ebola does that is fatal. It causes the complete removal of all vitamin C from the body. No one actually knows what mechanism is involved in doing this, other than a malfunction that is not permanently destructive to whatever is triggered to remove all vitamin C. All the researchers know is that vitamin C drops to zero, and all the symptoms of Ebola are consistent with a complete loss of vitamin C. From the report at Gemstone Freelance, we read, the actual way Ebola kills is by causing a severe cytokine release in blood vessel walls, which is already irritated by a viral assault, will rupture from the irritation caused by a strong cytokine release. With regard to Ebola, the exact cytokine is called IL-6, which is inhibited by 41% with adequate vitamin C present. This means that from this mode of action alone, vitamin C will reduce the impact of Ebola by 41%. If you combine this with the fact that vitamin C will strengthen the blood vessel walls as well, the two ways vitamin C helps will work in combination to prevent death from Ebola, especially if Ebola, which removes all vitamin C, weakens the blood vessel walls by removing vitamin C to begin with. So, vitamin C is another highly recommended supplement vitamin to take. So taking a true natural vitamin C is a major factor, not the synthetic ones that you find in your stores, in fighting off Ebola, especially considering Ebola chief action of fatality is causing the blood vessels to rupture through the body where you bleed out of every orifice. Think of this as preventive maintenance, folks. This is something you want to start doing now. And then if you come in contact, chances are you may not even need the sower because you've had your adequate amounts of selenium and vitamin C and vitamin E and these types of things. And it like I said, these things will not harm you. They can only help you in regards to this natural organic health. Vitamin C full spectrum source with the bioflavonoids from a plant source strengthens the blood vessels. Scott Johnson says he highly recommends vitamin C 400, 180 tablets, or C complete powder, 81 grams. And again, you can go to Innate to get the powder. Maybe get both of them, the powder and the tablets. I don't know, but and here is the vitamin C 400 tablets. Okay. So basically, the main things you want to have on hand, and if you can get to it, is 2 or 3 10,000 parts per million silver, a couple of 5,000 parts per million silver. If you can't afford that, basically start by getting some preventive maintenance with some cheaper supplements like vitamin C, selenium, vitamin E, and these types of things. Preventive maintenance, folks. When you practice on preventive maintenance and these types of things, chances are this pandemic that could be on the horizon will not even affect you. And therefore, and also consider Psalm 91 and consider who we have as our God and as our Savior, and put your trust and faith in Him, and 1,000 will fall at their at your one side and 10,000 at thy right, but it will not come nigh thee. Okay, so, but also I do believe it is wise to consider these supplements that you can take, these vitamins, these whole foods, basically. Okay, so I didn't want to get into too much of all the scary news out there, because there's plenty enough out there. You can go wherever and look it up, but what I wanted to do is basically provide you with alternatives and actions that you can take preventively to prevent a harmful situation. Okay, so I'm going to provide you with all the links that I shared, the contendingfortruth.com website, the Contending for Truth playlist. Go and look at that playlist, and the rest is up to you. Okay, thank you for watching. Truth be told, truth be known. Stay safe. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.